Okay, we are live.
Guest service, we are live streaming. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Ban. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. Apologies for the lateness. If anybody has been joining online and on our YouTube channel, we were just waiting for quorum. We do have quorum now. Our committee member Khan is present. We are just having some problems with her technical connections, but she is present. So, for my introductory remarks for today's meeting, November the 7th, 2024, I want to welcome everyone to the November 7th Heritage Richmond Hill meeting. This afternoon's meeting is an electronic meeting being held pursuant to Section 238, 3.3 of the Municipal Act 2001. Please note, we have received regrets from committee members Bob Berube, Annette Evsina, and Joanne Schreiber. The public had the opportunity to submit written correspondence regarding agenda items by email to the clerk's office. All written correspondence received by 12 p.m. noon yesterday would have been included on the agenda, but none was received. The public also had the opportunity to apply to appear as an electronic delegation, either by video conference or by telephone by 12 p.m. noon yesterday, but there were also none received. So as chair of the committee, I will ask now to call the meeting to order and ask a committee member to please put a motion out to adopt the agenda. If someone could just raise a hand. Thank you very much. Barbara DeMambro, vice chair. We have our agenda. Let me go to my papers here. Okay. So the agenda has been adopted. So the third item on our agenda is the disclosures of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof.
Sorry.
Anybody on committee?
Councilor Zip, sorry, if you could call
Yes.
the vote on the adoption.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. On the adoption of agenda. Everybody in agreement? Thank you. Anybody opposed? No. Timothy, your hand is up. Is that what that was?
No,
just
yeah, no.
Okay, we're on track. Item number 3, disclosures of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof to committee members. Anybody? Seeing none. Item 4 is the adoption of our previous minutes. Item 4.1 is the minutes of Heritage Richmond Hill meeting HRH 07-24 held October the 3rd, 2024. A, that the minutes of Heritage Richmond Hill meeting HRH 07-24 held October 3rd, 2024 be adopted. Do I have a member on committee? Thank you, Diane. Diane has moved that forward. I gather that everybody has read their minutes, as I always say at the beginning. Oh, hello, Barbara. As I always say at the beginning of every meeting. Are there any comments from committee members? Seeing none. Okay, so for that one, it was moved by Diane. Item 4.1, that the minutes of Heritage Richmond Hill meeting HRH 07-24 held October 3rd, 2024 be adopted. All those in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, that carries unanimously. Thank you. And then we have 4.2, which is extracts from council meeting C 24-24 held October 23rd, 2024. That the extracts from the council meeting C24-24 held October 23rd, 2024 regarding the following staff reports be received. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ryan, do you want me to call out, read out each one line?
To the chair, no, I think that's okay. It is on the agenda, so I think everyone's aware of what's there.
Okay. So speaking to all items, are there any comments from, could I have a member move that, please? Somebody on committee? Thank you. Councillor Davidson? Any comments from members of committee? Seeing none, all those in favor? So any opposed? Seeing none, that passes unanimously. Thank you very much. We have no delegations, so we can move straight on to our scheduled business. 6.1. SRPBS 24109, request to demolish the Robert Hewison House, located at 26 Church Street South, city file number D 12-0750. And there are two parts to this particular business. That staff report, SRPBS 24109, regarding request to demolish the Robert Hewison House at 26 Church Street South be received. B, that council approve the request to demolish the Robert Hewison House at 26 Church Street South. So could I have a member of committee bring this forward so we can have it on the floor for discussion, please? Agnes, thank you very much. Brought forward by Agnes Power. Agnes, as the mover, you have first crack at this one.
Yes, this is actually a very unfortunate situation that's happened to me. It's a classic case of demolition by neglect and finished off by an arsonist. I have read all the paperwork that was sent over, and in the let me just see what the name of this company was here.
If I may just for one moment, I believe we should say an alleged arsonist because it's still ongoing.
Okay, that's fine. You
just
can preface that in there with the word alleged.
Alleged, please.
Yes, because the people who did the structural assessment report, they also did note that there were things that it wasn't just destroyed by fire, but it was also damaged, by deterioration, and they show pictures in there of the foundation, etc. So it's a very unfortunate thing. It's a big loss to the historical component of the village, and I don't know what else can be actually really said or done about that. I am going to actually just put a comment forth, which is a little bit outside of the purview of what we're meeting about today, but I just do want to put the comment there, particularly to our council representatives. If there's any possibility that once this comes to council, if a replica of the house could be built. And it's just a thought that I'm throwing out there because at this meeting, I know that's outside the purview of this committee. And
that's correct. No, that's okay.
Those are my comments. I just wanted to put that out there. I know that there is precedence because I know that some years ago, there were properties up on King Road, I think near Bathurst and Dufferin, and they burned down in about 2008, but replicas were built. So I just wanted to direct that comment to our council representatives. And it is just a comment at this point because it's outside the purview of this what's before us.
So heard. Thank you. Anything further, Agnes?
No, that's it for me.
Okay. Anybody else on committee have any comments about the matter before us? Seeing none. Councillor Thompson, do you have any comments?
Yes, actually, I recognize we have staff here, so it may be appropriate just to ask a couple of questions that may also help Agnes with her comments here. And that is the impact of the motion that is before us in terms of continuing or holding on to the designation of the property. What are the impacts of that? Is what Agnes suggested a possibility given the direction that's being proposed?
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Kunal, may I put that to you? I don't think we can really discuss what Agnes has proposed because it's not part and parcel of what's on the agenda. But Kunal, if you could comment, which would hopefully also encompass Councillor Thompson's questions as to the what is the actual veracity of the heritage designation of this property and the house on the west side, which is faces onto Yonge Street.
So through the chair, the other properties on the lot are still protected by the designation bylaw. That is still a reality. The staff report before us today is for the demolition of a property that can no longer be salvaged or retained or protected in any form, which is why we're supporting the demolition. The ability to add any requests, comments, or conditions, yes, the committee has the ability to do that. However, that condition cannot be tied to a demolition permit because there's a statutory timeline that needs to be met. So even if the committee and council endorses the idea or the concept of recreating this house, we wouldn't be able to tie it to a demolition permit per se, because we would not be able to feasibly recreate the building before the statutory timelines. However, that does not preclude the committee from making suggestions or comments and putting a motion forward.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Kunal. Thank you very much. So we know that those comments are there. They'll be in the public record, but it cannot be discussed or voted on as part of this particular, as what is on the floor right now. Councillor Thompson, did that help you?
Yeah, so I guess through the chair, I'm trying to just make sure that I wrap my head around what opportunities are available based on keeping the designation on the property in this particular case. And is there anything that we should be looking at here today, or is that something that would be, if we wanted to give more thought to it, we would make a proposal at council? So I'm just trying to sort where the difference is here. That's all.
Again, as Kunal was saying, that all we are discussing here today is the demolition of the deceased remains under designation. So should we want to discuss this any further, I would ask Kunal perhaps how we do that, whether it is a separate motion, a member motion perhaps that's brought to council by council members, or whether it is something we can look at through 2025 on our Heritage Committee agenda meetings. Kunal?
So through the chair, I should have mentioned this in my previous answer too, but when the demolition of a designated property is supported, a bylaw that's associated with it must also be repealed or amended. In this case, because the property sits on a lot that has other properties that are part of the designation, we would have to bring forward the amendment. And it may be a possibility that through the amendment, we can have this discussion where we bring forward a staff report to amend the bylaw. And at that point, it would have to be recommendations from staff, or it could, but to your point, Chair Silivitz, it could also be a motion brought forward by council, independent of the demolition permit and an amending bylaw.
Okay. Okay, I understand that. So, Councillor Thompson, is there anything further?
Yeah, no, that's definitely helpful. I appreciate the answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, going one more time. Anybody wish to make any comments? Okay, so from my end, I completely concur with Agnes. This is an absolute travesty, but it's a fact. So we are now faced with a completely destroyed property that obviously it shows that it's a public safety problem. So the demolition is therefore before us. There's no question at this point in time that this demolition, as far as I'm concerned, this demolition permit should go forward. And again, just remember that the only thing that we are referring to here is the demolition of this particular property on this lot. The rest remains protected, is designated. So when this does come forward, whatever our decision here today, and when the recommendation comes forward to council, it's for the demolition of this particular property. It's got nothing to do with the designation of the entire site. I would agree to the demolition. To be honest, we're put in a place of, being stuck between a rock and a hard place. There's nothing we can do here other than agree to the demolition because of what we are left with in tatters and shreds on the ground. Those are my comments. Timothy, I see your hand.
Uh, yes, through the chair. I just have a question. Who bears the cost of the demolition? Is it a city or is it
No.
the
No, it's the
property owner?
It's the owner. It's the landowner.
I see. Okay, thank you, madam.
Okay. Second round, anybody? No, seeing none. Okay. So we have the motion before us. Let me just read it again. Okay. Sorry, guys. Just give me 1 sec. Got too many papers. Okay. So the recommendations that are before us, that staff report SRPBS 24109, request to demolish the Robert Hewison House at 26 Church Street South be received, and B, that council approve the request to demolish the Robert Hewison House at 26 Church Street South. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Natasha. I see Natasha joined in as well. Thank you. That passes unanimously. Thank you, committee. I greatly appreciate that. This is one of the parts of our job that can be very distressing. So, in a time of distress, period, this unfortunately just adds to it. So that's the end of the end of scheduled business 6.1, 6.2. No, sorry, now I go to 6.2. So 6.2 is the proposed 2025 Heritage Richmond Hill meeting schedule, and that the proposed 2025 Heritage Richmond Hill Committee meeting schedule be approved. So that is attached, and if I could have a member of committee move that forward so we can have a discussion if necessary. Who would like to move this forward, please? Barbara Marr-Irwin, thank you. Does anybody on committee have any concerns or questions about these dates? I've checked them as to compare them to the Jewish holidays, and we're all good for that. Councillor Davidson?
I just want to say I can't believe it's 2025. I remember being worried about 2000, but anyway, they all look good to me. Thank you.
Okay, good. So it looks okay to everybody. Okay. Good enough. Timothy, go ahead.
Through the chair. I just personally have a couple of days scheduled, which may conflict of the time, but I think it's okay. It's not all the 12 months. So I would notify the chair and the committee if I am not available for that particular meeting.
Thanks, Timothy.
Thank
yes, all that's required is that you send you send an email to Ryan, and so that the clerk's office is aware of it, and then they will inform us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, one more time. We good? Okay. Okay, so we have the motion on the floor for 6.2, proposed Heritage Richmond Hill meeting schedule put forward by committee member Barbara Marr-Irwin, that the proposed 2025 Heritage Richmond Hill Committee meeting schedule be approved. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, that passes unanimously. Thank you. Just before we go to the adjournment, if I could just gently remind all members of committee that if you are going to be unable to attend the committee meeting, please inform Ryan or the clerks so that they are aware. It is very important that we are able to attain quorum in order for our meeting to proceed. And if you are going to be late, we would appreciate also if you could just let clerk's office know that you're going to be 5-10 minutes late, just so that we know, because we have if I could remind all members of committee, we have a 30-minute window from the time that the meeting is stamped for, which is 3 p.m. So that takes us to 3:30. Once the clock goes down to 3:30, we are then in a position where we have to negate the meeting. So because there isn't quorum. So if I could just have everybody just please remember that we've still got a couple more years on this committee, and I would appreciate that, and so would clerks. So with that said, the last item agenda is number 7, and that is a motion to adjourn. Anybody want to put that forward for me, please? A member of committee? Councillor Davidson, thank you very much. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, that passes unanimously. Thank you, members of committee. Thank you, Councillor Thompson, always for your presence. It's very valued on our committee, and to all our staff members, thank you very much for all the work that you do. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Welcome. Bye-bye.